covering the northern Bahamas. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
In other news, the Rand Memorial Hospital receiving a major donation this week. Member of Parliament from Central Grand Bahama, Iram Lewis, presenting the hospital with some much-needed supplies. The effort is all a part of the Central Grand Bahamas Wellness Program. The MP says he's excited about the donation, and it's the first of many more for the healthcare facility.
We have some esophagus scope. We have disposable blankets, pillowcase, sheets, isolation garment for the hospital administration staff to use, administrative staff to use to help to ease the burden. We have an additional 10 wheelchairs en route to the island of Grand Bahama. We have at least 3 beds so far that is on the shipment, and we have a few gurneys. I've spoken to the minister, I've spoken to the administrator, Ms. Williams, who they are excited to partner with us. And I think the best way to help the entire island of Grand Bahama, as opposed to just helping Central Grand Bahama, is to make the donation to the hospital.
Hospital Administrator Sharon Williams says the donation will go a long way.
Be able to have the support of the organizations and the community in terms of wheelchairs, which are heavily utilized in our services. Not only do we use them internally, but if there is a need for assistance in the community with our clients, then we have no choice but to support our clients in the loan of wheelchairs. So the use on the wheelchairs are very heavy, and we're always in need of these types of equipment.
In other news, the Princess Court is entering its 12th year on Grand Bahama, and it is expanding. The 6-week program that promotes sexual purity among girls now includes other islands of the Bahamas. Founder Stephanie Burrows and other members are pleased with what they have been able to achieve thus far.
I am happy to say that Princess Court is now at St. Jude's Church in Smiths Point. Princess Court is in Nassau, Fort Charlotte, and Princess Court will also be developed here and on the island at some more churches and schools. So it is a pleasure to know that Princess Court is really spreading throughout the Bahamas. Also, last year we did a great celebration at the end for the Princess Court on the grand celebration. And this year, I am pleased to announce that we are having a Princess and Her King banquet as our pledging ceremonies at the end of our sessions. And so we're inviting the princesses to bring an uncle, a godfather, a man in their life that they look up to come to the ball and escort them.
And so we encourage all princesses from ages 5 to 18 to come out to have fun, but most of all to stay true to your pledge and to come and pledge for purity.
The training sessions kick off this Saturday at Central Zion Church in 8 Mile Rock. Youth Officer Carla Brown-Roker says the Ministry of Youth fully endorses this program and commends those involved for their dedication to the young women.
This is a dynamic team of women of God who take the time to train our young ladies throughout the 6 weeks program. And we are pleased to see how they blossom into wonderful young women. The Princess Court Ministries have thousands of young women throughout our country, our island, and also in Nassau, who can say that their lives have been enriched because of the Princess Court Ministries. And so we are delighted once again to endorse this program and to encourage all parents and guardians in Grand Bahama to ensure that your daughter is enrolled in the Princess Court Ministries.
And now to our Grand Exploration segment. Tonight we will take you on a tour of Grand Bahama's largest nature park. It is a calming and peaceful depiction of the natural side of the island. Here is Megan Shepard.
This is where the trail begins, and it's actually a loop. So you go one way, come back the next, okay? One of the first things that we would show people when they enter this trail is poison wood. Okay. Because everyone should know what poison wood looks like before they go, you know, trampling off onto a trail.
And that is where our grand exploration of the 200-acre park begins. Park manager Ellsworth Ware says that the trail, which is some 2,000 feet long, was constructed over 2 years ago. The narrow pathway winds and coils through native plants, and even some exotic trees can be found along the path.
Over here is wild guava. Now that isn't blooming any fruits right now. Spoke about the Caribbean pine, it's all through here. We have the thatch. One thing you don't see much in this part of Grand Bahama is the silver top thatch. This is an almond tree, native almond tree. So this is edible, not the best tasting to me, but people do eat them.
As you follow along the trail, it leads up to a tranquil pond, which was once home to turtles, ducks, and even flamingos. Ware says the current plan is to revitalize the pond, which will hopefully attract native wildlife. But for now, Ware says that residents take full advantage of the quiet escape.
You would find that people come out and they like to go to the back area because it's very quiet back there. And we even have some groups that come and do yoga there. We've had some weddings back here, and then we have people who just come and sometimes bring their lunch and go, yeah, come on a date and just sit in the back there and eat their lunch and just peace and quiet.
Next up in the nature exploration, that leads us to the arboretum. Here, plants are grouped by their distinct characteristics, whether medicinal or coastal or edible.
You would find that the lignum vitae, I mean, it's good for just about everything. They call it the tree of life.
How do you use it?
Well, I mean, boiling is probably the number one way, but this tree has been used, like I say, for many different, medical reasons. But this tree is also in two sections. It's in the medicinal section, but it's also in the hardwood section, because it's also been used for furniture, to make ball bearings, even bowling balls.
The park is also home to 5 rescued animals, including Donnie, the Bahama parrot that has been there since the early 1990s. They also house a red-tailed hawk, a peacock, and 2 boa constrictors.
That's a Bahamian boa, still not venomous or anything, not aggressive, and you find them more so like in the central and southern Bahamas, from Nassau go down. The Abaco boa over here is only found in Abaco. So it's actually considered like an endangered species, And this is a male, that's a female. The males don't get that big.
Now, while my cameraman Sean and I couldn't muster up the courage to hold the snake, Ware says that Bahamians should not fear them as they are not venomous. Megan Shepard, ZNS Network News.
And now it is time to ask the doctor.
Hi, I'm Dr. Monique Pratt. Marcus asked, when I go to the bathroom, every once in a while I see what looks like blood in my stool, but I have no pain. Is this something I should be worried about? Marcus, thanks for your question, which is related to an issue that is more common than you might think. Blood in the stool is caused by bleeding somewhere in your gastrointestinal tract. That's the system that digests and eliminates the food we eat. Bleeding from the lower portion of the GI tract, mainly most of the small intestines, colon, anus, and rectum, can show up in stool, and there are many people who visit doctors' offices or are admitted to the hospital each year to be treated for conditions related to bleeding. Hemorrhoids, which are enlarged veins in the anal area that can rupture and produce bright red blood, are the most common cause of lower GI bleeding. Anal fissures or tears in the lining of the anus can also cause bleeding and are often very painful. Other conditions like colon polyps, cancer of the colon or rectum, some intestinal infections, Crohn's disease, and ulcerative colitis, which are inflammatory conditions, can all cause bleeding. Some of these can be serious. If you experience any bleeding while passing stool, please see a doctor right away. I'm Dr. Monique Pratt, and this has been Ask the Doctor.
Stay with us. Ramiko Knowles has a check on sports when we come back.